Freedom, I never had the chance to run. Leave behind the said and done. Figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of something more. So I think I found a new way out, way beyond a shadow of doubt. 'Cause I can't breathe. And I guess I could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But I'm doing this for me. Give it up, baby, I'm not fooling anyone. Always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow of doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down, and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again, so we can fly again. I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift
light do decay more slowly than stationary particles. As strange and counterintuitive as it seems, time dilation is a law of nature.
get up. We want you to get on your feet. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now. With the body till we black out. So get the fuck up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport, here for the start of the F2s tonight. We're at Canada, and what a place to be. Let's go on PM Motorsport with a lap of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve then, here in this lovely, sunny, overcast kind of conditions. Looks like it's evening time here. Championship standings then look a little like this, and it is the way of Unorthodox, 9 points clear of Big Boy Brazier. Gary 131, 36 behind, with Forzy 61 behind in P4. A. Smith not far off the back of him. PM Motorsport in 6th place, 1 point out of Mazda, who's not here at the moment. Lucas Roth P8 with Rabbit Joe in 9th, 1 point out of Fury. Craig E is P11 with DJ Phil 12th. Leon Fernie 13th out of Smoky Devil by 1 point. That Bozzy Boys down in 15th place with Sutty Apex in 16th. Bryn 17th. Shane yet to get off the mark. We've got a new driver tonight. Exit Tibbs is the new driver in with us. He's in the Dams car, and we can't wait to see what he can do out there. Prema lead the way, 4 points clear of Carling. ART 18 behind. High-Tech then are 85 off the pace. Trident 67 points in P5. Uni Virtuosi in P6. HWA Race Lab in 7th with Campos in 8th. Charouz in 9th. MP Motorsport 10th, and Dams down in P11. Who, though, is going to get pole? It looks like it is going to go the way of that man, Unorthodox. Yes, it does, by a 10th of a second. Unorthodox will take his fourth pole position of the season. And what a start for him to be on pole. That puts him now ahead of Gary 131 on the all-time poles list here at Simplay Motorsport. But do not forget, it will be a reverse grid from the top 10 for this first race of the evening. So it's Dan on pole from Big Boy Brazier, Gary in third with A. Smith in fourth, Forsey fifth, Leon Fernie sixth, Lucas Roth seventh, PM Motorsport in eighth with Exit Tibbs down in ninth, Fury 10th, he'll be pole for the sprint race, DJ Phil 11th, Craigie 12th and Smoky Devil in 13th place. How are we all then? I hope you're all well, hope you're doing grand on this Sunday evening as there's a poll going out. Who will win the sprint race? So then there we go then. Evening to Fury's granddad, PM Motorsport, Peaceful stepdad as well. The poll is now up for who you think will win the sprint race. And let's see what will happen in this one then. So Dan gets another pole position to his name. And what a good job that will be for him. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one, as he takes yet another pole position. And I'm sure we'll be absolutely delighted with it. So here we go then. The green flag will fly for the formation lap, and it will be Fury 2 leaders away here for the green flag lap. Any noticeable mentions tonight? Bozzy Boy would have made his 100th appearance, but he's not got in for race 1, so that might come on Thursday night. In terms of the 150 mark, Dean Wisoki's getting close. In terms of 200, DJ Phil is only 18 races off the back of that. And in terms of race start number 50, the next closest driver is Craig E, who isn't actually in for this one at the moment. Oh no, he is in for this one, sorry, he's down in P12, so he is gaining on that one. And 16 people currently watching. I'm very well, Welsh yourself, apart from a blocked ear in my left ear. I am very, very well. Hope you're good, buddy. As Fury here has not waited for the pack and has just decided that he wants to go in this one. So we're just getting everything set up, everything ready. Every driver is on the soft tyre, and for tonight, we have the hyper soft tyre in this one. So here we go then, in this sprint race. Fury now starting to just slow down a little bit. As we get ready for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix here in these F2s. Someone shouting me, no, went swimming. And it got blocked from swimming, unfortunately. Votes coming in the chat. Fury, Exit Tibbs, Big Boy Brazier, Dan all getting votes here. Fury and Exit Tibbs then. The two new men will be on the pole. Front row grid for start for them too. And for Dan, it's down in P10. What can Unorthodox do in this race? This is the biggest question. Can he get another race win to his name? Can Jamie stop the run? If Dan wins all 8 races of the F2s, he'll get to his 50th race win. But it's going to be green and go. Held, green, go. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix. And what a start from Fury, who's already ahead of Tibbs and covers him off. That's a Red Bull car in the wall there, not quite sure which one. Fury from Tibbs, then back to Lucas Roth, Leon Fernie, Smithy and Gary already close company as well. As Big Boy Brazier up to 7th, Dan's already up to 8th, Forsey and DJ Phil down in 9th and 10th, Craigie, Smoky Devil and PM Motorsport away. PM not as nice, not as clearly as he would have wanted to be. As let's go to Big Boy Brazier, getting past A. Smith here at the corner where Dan, really Matt, really? And he's through cleanly this time on lap 1 and tries now to look up the inside of Smithy and Big Boy Brazier as they're 3 abreast coming into the next chicane, and Dan sensibly backs out of that one. He doesn't want another really moment. Jamie round the outside of A. Smith, cleanly done. And Lucas Roth now has himself up into P2. Forsey and DJ Phil have got past Craig E then at the start of this race, and Lucas Roth putting some immense pressure. But look at Gary 131, the two-time pro champ, wants to get as far up the field from Dan as he possibly can, as he's trying to make moves on his title rival at the minute, Big Boy Brazier, who's down in 6th place. Leon Fernie just ahead of these two now. Smithy's down in 8th. Lucas Roth having a look. Gary sensibly waiting. Jamie's going to have a look at Leon Fernie. Sensibly though, they break. Wall of champions. Will we see a champion? Jamie, Fury, Gary, all the champions there that could be in the wall, as Gary's now attacking exit Tibbs into turn 1. And does he get up the inside? He does, but Tibbs will have the outside line for turn 2, and they just make a bit of contact, and off goes Tibbs. And I think Smithy there has lost a bit of front wing. Tibbs moves out the way and has to get that one spun around, unfortunately for him. Forsey in the pits, so it's Fury from Lucas Roth. Gary on the back of him. Then it's Leon Fernie, a bit of end plate damage there for him. Here comes Jamie and Dan at Dan's famous corner. Dan looking to the outside, Jamie's up the inside. That'll give Dan a few nightmares then, and Jamie keeps hold of that position. Dan in 6th, A. Smith 7th, Craigie in the points in 8th place. Don't forget for this sprint race, ZK1WI Paul, let's go Fury. Hello everybody, good evening buddy. Smokey's 9th, PN 10th, DJ Phil 11th, Tibbs down in 12th, and Forsey out the pits in 13th. But Fury leads from Lucas Roth. And Keegs, who runs out of fuel every now and again, has got some immense pressure from Gary 131 right behind him. Big Boy Brazier and Dan having an awesome scrap coming down towards the final chicane. Dan has the better run on Jamie. Jamie might have to yield this one, who's going to be brave to fight this around the outside. And Dan looking to keep his car there. Will Jamie yield? You bet you he has to, because he has to get out of that one for this tight chicane. Dan up front though. Oh, ever so close to the wall for unorthodox 16, who now is attacking the front, the back of Leon Fernie, up the inside into turn 1, and Dan goes through. Jamie tries to follow through, and I thought Jamie there lost the rear of the car, but he continues on his way, and Dan now up to P4. So Gary needs to get a hurry on here if he's to get himself past Lucas Roth and Fury. 3 for the lead here. What a start to this race for Gary 131, who's going to look up the inside of the corner that Dan despises and can't get it done. Trying to get Keegs on the exit. Great battles all around here. Back down the pack. PN's up to 9th. That's a bit of wing. I think I didn't know it's a leaf of D. No, it's not. It is half of DJ Phil's wing rolling across the circuit here then. PN on the back of Craigie. Round the outside. Job done. PN Motorsport gets into P8. As Gary round the outside of Lucas Roth, he's trying to look, oh, bit of a wiggle for Keegs and Fury, and this could allow Gary a bit of momentum. And is he going to get through? He has got through, and that is job done. Big Boy Brazier also has got past Leon Fernie here then. There's Beastie Gaming. Tibbs is coming back for this podium. He's down in 11th, a lot of work to do with a bit of wing damage. He will look to probably come back in the second race. It's Leon Fernie on the inside and tapped round, and that is the yellow flag. Is he out of this race? No, but has no front wing whatsoever. PN will get through. You'd imagine Craig E will now get through, and that is a disaster for Leon Fernie in this one. DJ Phil in the pits, Tibbs on his way up the standings. Big Boy now has A. Smith still on the back of him and is trying to hunt down these three, as Gary somehow now is in the lead of this race. He's got past Keegs, he's got past Fury. Gary now will start to sail off into the sunset here, as Fury and Lucas Roth having an awesome battle. Fury a bit squirmish and Keegs around the outside. Job done, and with DRS for the pair of them. I don't think Dan has it just yet, but we'll soon be there. DJ Phil on the super softs. I don't know if they're going to get to the end, and Fury spins right around. And Dan on the podium now. Will we see the old switcheroo from the teammates here? That's the question. Down to Tibbs on his first outing here at Simplay Motorsport. He's on the back of a broken Leon Fernie at the moment. Looking up the inside at the hairpin, and Leon Fernie gives him plenty of room there because he knows he's not going to fight that one. Yellow flag sector 1. I think that might have been DJ Phil. They've gone now. So exit Tibbs now 2.7 off the back of Craigie. If you like what you see here, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you are new, Leon Fernie going to look up the inside like he did to Jamie Brazier. He does, you know. And bails out of that. Don't know what Leon Fernie was doing there, but he's bailed out of it to get himself in the pits. He'd have been better off just playing the patient game. It's a good job Tibbs didn't turn in. Well done, Tibbs, for being aware of that one then. Right, a second between Dan and Lucas Roth. Will they play the team strategy? Everybody still up for the championship, apart from Tibbs and Bryn and Shane and Sutty and that Bozzy boy. None of them could win the championship, but Keeg still can. And Lucas Roth wants all the points he can get. Dan really closing in on the back of Lucas Roth. Oh, and all the team going to switch them around. Dan will get the double DRS, so don't forget here in Canada it's a double DRS. Gary just pulling away, Dan creeping onto the back of his teammate here then. And is that the call from the calling team? The switcheroo then. Keeg's not holding his teammate up and lets Dan go. Oh, he's dropped it! Lucas Roth has dropped it by the wall of champions. He's kept himself out of it as Dan does the fastest lap. Smithy now up to fourth. And Fury there has to take evasive action of Lucas Roth. And does so. So Keeg's giving the place to his teammate and losing out massively. He is the closest man to a car. In fact, Leon Fernie is actually out the pit lane. Him and DJ Phil having a good little scrap here. DJ Phil on the quicker tyre, but the less durable one. Runs a little deep. Leon Fernie tucks underneath. That is a great move from the youngster. Leon Fernie, Phil squeezing Leon to the grass, but Leon Fernie holding his ground here. Yellow flag sector 1. That is, I think, Smoky Devil, and Leon Fernie now will sail off into the final chicane. Job done for him. And it was Smoky Devil who caused the yellow flag. Tibbs now trying to gain on the back of Craigie. And let's not forget, in the F2 sprint race, it's top 8 that score a point. So he's not yet on a point on his debut outing. Lucas Roth getting closer to the back of Fury here. And Carlin will want as many points as they can get so far, because Pramer now lead the way. We've had ART lead the way. Carlin have led the way. Pramer now lead the way. And for ART, big points over their rivals with a first and a fourth at the minute. And everybody seems very, very settled here. Lucas Roth just getting within that second now of Fury. Let's take a look at the fuel of Lucas Roth. He's got over one plus lap in the tank, so he's clearly got enough fuel to get to the end. Do believe for Lucas Roth, he reinstalled the game on his PlayStation, because it was as if it had glitched out for him and wasn't saving the fuel. But he's now within that second of Fury and has just come through the DRS detection zone and can now start to get a move on in terms of catching Fury, who's had a massive wiggle there. And the rear wing opens for Keegs, and Fury might be helpless to a Lucas Roth double DRS in a moment. Both very twitchy through the back half of the lap. Gap out front still 1.5 seconds. Jamie still 2.7 to Dan. And Dan won't mind being behind Gary at this stage. 36 points separates them, but he's ahead of Jamie. That's the crucial thing for Dan. And now a double helping of DRS for Lucas Roth down this back straight will really help him. Here he goes then, to the outside of Fury. He's not going to make that one work. Will he get the chicane right this time? Fury gets it horribly wrong, gets a poor run out of the chicane. And Keegs then, with DRS up into P5. Can Fury get anything back? Dan then has the gap under a second to Gary. So has Gary had a moment somewhere? Because Dan flying on the back of Gary here. DRS he will have at this part, but it's a very short DRS zone. Gary must have made a mistake, because the gap down to Jamie is still the same. And Gary covers that one, because the DRS zone just a bit too short there. As far as he's trying to catch Smoky Devil, he's gone the right way in terms of pitting and putting that soft tyre back on. For DJ Phil, you feel that his tyres are just going to give way. And for Dan here, he'll have double DRS, but he has to get it done before the final chicane, you reckon? Because otherwise, he's going to struggle to get it up the inside of Gary into this last chicane. And for Dan then, long way back, may just sit back and wait, and indeed he does. Now, Wall of Champions, get the run right, Gary, bit of a slide, Dan awfully close as well. And now, the two-time and the three-time Pro Champs will go at it. Dan looking up the inside of Gary 131, and that will be job done. But we know Gary's a fighter. He holds it around the outside of turn 1, and the outside of turn 2 as he runs very deep. Dan then will get this one back. Fury's in the pits. Dan leads this race, but we'll now have Gary with pressure. Yellow flag sector 3. Someone has had an off, and I believe that might be Smoky Devil, who's had a moment. In fact, it could be DJ Phil, who's a lap down, I believe, now. On the cars around him, it is DJ Phil who had a moment. Dan and Gary now. Gary will have DRS. He's going to look up the inside, can't get it done there. Fury's in the pits. He's put the soft tyre on. Jamie just losing time hand over fist, and you feel that this DRS battle could pull these two away from Jamie a little bit. Gary will have the DRS. Dan a little deep, and Gary now will have the momentum out that final corner, out the hairpin corner. Evening to the lazy camel. Hope you're well, buddy. As Gary now DRS down the back straight. Here he comes. Pulls out to have a look at the chicane. This will be a bold move if he goes for this one. And Gary is a bold and brave man. Dan backs out of it. Gary through. And Gary with DRS now. Dan right in that slipstream, but Gary has the DRS, which will just pull him ever so slightly in front of Dan. Dan's going to go for a late lunge. Gary covers it off and get it stopped and tucked in this time, Gary. And he does so. And Jamie actually has gained a couple of tenths through this little battle here. That is Jamie's view of the two in front. Dan all over the curb there, really using as much of it as he can. And Gary now will have the pressure of Dan on DRS. DJ Phil's back in the pit lane then, so a disastrous race for him. Great racing from the top two. It is indeed BC. As Dan, DRS on Gary. DRS though, too short. Smoky Devil also in the pit lane. This will promote Fury and Leon Fernie. Forzy's up into ninth. Now Exit Tibbs is in the points on his debut race. Jamie now under 2 seconds to these two. Into the hairpin. Dan and Gary come. Gary just a little deep than he'd have liked to have been. Now then, Dan, can you get past Gary where Gary got past you? Gary moves to the outside, comes back across to the inside. That is his manoeuvres done. He's going to force Dan the long way round. Now Gary comes back across. Bit of a tap there between the two, maybe. Dan ahead of Gary through the final chicane. Dan perilously close to the Wall of Champions. DRS open for Dan. Gary doing to Dan what Dan did to him in that slipstream. And Gary pulls out now at turn 1. Thinks better of it and lets Dan have the line. No battles really anywhere else, it's just the top two at the moment. And what a battle though from these two. Jamie Brazier getting ever so closer here. And Gary will need them DRS zones once again to get past Unorthodox as Dan just pulls a little bit more out the corners and out the chicanes. And there is a back marker just in front, and I do believe that is Smoky Devil. Indeed it is. Back to the leaders then. Here comes Gary. Gets a bit closer, keeps himself within a couple of tenths. Now, double DRS. Maybe don't set him up at the final chicane this time. Maybe just set him up at turn 1 into the hairpin. Will Dan get DRS off the back marker? That's the question. The other problem is if that back marker has a problem at the Wall of Champions, how much will Dan get involved in it? Rear wings open now. Does Dan have DRS? No. So Dan not close enough to the back marker at the moment, and for Gary 131 he's getting closer, but we'll just think about this and wait patiently. They're pulling away from Jamie a little bit more. Gary now close to the Wall of Champions. Now blue flags fly for Smoky Devil, and Dan and Gary, for Gary 131 he's not even got close enough for the second DRS zone, so Dan there being helped a little bit maybe by the slipstream of Smoky Devil, who stays well out the way of the two leaders. For Gary though, here he'll still be in that DRS zone. Just looking down the order, Exit Tibbs getting closer to the back of Craigie. That gap's now 2 seconds. We'll keep our eyes on that battle. As Gary there, wow, that's a wallop in the back of Dan. And a heck of a shunt now with DRS. Gary even closer to unorthodox. And does he think about having a go here? He looks to the outside. Dan leaves him the room and through the chicane they go. Dan a bit of a wiggle, holds it all together. The track looks very, very slippy on board. Not so bad. It looks very slippy though. From the spectator point of view. Dan into the hairpin. Gary stays right behind and he's a bit closer now, you feel. Dan though, couple of tenths he's gained. For Big Boy Brazier, he's even closer to the pair of them. And if he can get on this, what action we could have. Dan and Gary then. Good run through the chicane required. Let's go on board Dan a second. Exit Tibbs 1.1 off the back of Craig East. We'll keep an eye on him. Dan to the wall. He's fine. Gary's fine. What about Big Boy Brazier, our other champion? He is also fine. Gary now, will he think of sending one into turn one? He's got to be brave on the brakes here. Nope, doesn't even think about it. Exit Tibbs. He's on the back of Craig E. And in fact, Craig E and Tibbs in the Dam's car together. That looks like. No different liveries, apologies. Craig E is, I'll tell you what team Craig E is in a moment. Craig E is HWA Race Lab and Dams is Exit Tibbs then. So 1.4 at the minute for Tibbs, but with that broken front wing, it's going to be hard for him to do anything in this race. But he's in the points. He's going to score a point on his first outing. Gary attacking unorthodox with DRS once again and just needs to get close enough out the hairpin really. That's where he's losing his time and momentum. Into the hairpin now. And for Gary 131, it's points over Big Boy Brazier at least. Smithy in the chat. You're just a soft southern, won't repeat that what he said, and then go on little Smith. As Gary now coming down to unorthodox, can't get that one done. 4.5 tenths separate the top two. Dan there was on the grass a little bit. Did he clip the wall? There's no front wing damage, so it looks all right at the moment, but Gary will have seen Dan pushing the limits at the Wall of Champions and will just be wanting to maybe have a sniff next time around. Tibbs has lost out a bit of time to Craig E. P. Enslin the points for ART. This is good points in this first sprint race. 8 for Gary and 5 for Little Smith. It's not as good though as Lucas Roth or Unorthodox at the moment, but that's a story for another day, especially if Lucas Roth gets past A. Smith. Obviously the sprint race points are a bit more closer together than the feature races. Gary all over the curb, has a big wiggle and will not be in DRS of Unorthodox, but Big Boy Brazier will be on Gary. Great camera shot of Big Boy Brazier's driver. And for Gary, 131 there, huge moment, huge moment. Halfway through this race. Jamie, double DRS on Gary 131. Now then, what do these boys do? They've got a back marker up front. That is DJ Phil, who's about to be lapped yet again. Struggling here at Canada. He goes off into the grass. He's driven into the wall and has parked it up and now has reset to the track. So I'm not sure what DJ Phil's done there, but he's driven into the wall for some reason. He is now a lap down on the whole pack, is DJ Phil. Big Boy Brazier now on the back of Gary 131. 23 people watching. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the bell to be notified. Dan Davis, Unorthodox 16, will be bringing you the action of ACC Round 2 at the Hungaro Ring, Thursday, 8 PM BST. Make sure you join us for that one. But right now, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Gary 131 was on for the race win, battling with Dan. He's now dropped out of that DRS zone, and he's now scrapping with Big Boy Brazier. And Jamie's not close enough to have a look at the chicane. On board Dan then. Nice and easy down towards the final chicane. Doesn't really need to push too hard. Gets as close to the wall as he dares. So does Gary 131. There's Jamie, look. In the background, 0.6 of a second still. It doesn't seem enough as Gary sets the fastest lap of the race. Good stuff from him. Big boy Brazier, half a second behind him now. There's Smithy coming through the final chicane, as is Lucas Roth. And there is a car going slow. It's DJ Phil in the pits once again. That'll be for another front wing. Evening to Fury's mum. Here's PN towards the wall of champions tonight. Craigie, he's pulled away from Tibbs a little bit more. And then for Tibbs, very nicely done. Forsey, he's through as well. Good outing for him in ACC the other night. Here comes Fury. A lot of curb for Fury there. Bit of a wiggle and a slide. What about Leon Fernie at this point of the track? In fact, let's get off them. Because big boy Brazier within 0.2 of a second of Gary 131. So as Gary made another mistake, he's lost time to Dan. Lost a lot of time to Dan. And Jamie's right on the back of him here. And Jamie's going to have a look up the inside at the chicane, you know, and Gary is going to force Jamie to back out of that, which will compromise Jamie's run onto the start straight. Gary 131 clever there by keeping it round the outside. Yellow flag sector 2. That is down by Fury. So is that DJ Phil? That might have been DJ Phil once again. As Jamie still on the back of Gary 131. And this is Gary's point of view here. Jamie's point of view, sorry. Lucas Roth gaining on the back of A. Smith. So Lucas Roth doing a fine job. His fuel. Yeah, his fuel doesn't look bad. Lap 17 of 28. Will he get to the end of the race? That's the biggest question for Lucas Roth. Big boy Brazier now on the back of Gary, and Gary's speed and momentum just seems to be dying here. Has he took too much life out of his tyres? Will Jamie think of having a look at the chicane again? He pulls out, has a little look. Gary says no. As Dan now sets the fastest lap of the race. So Dan really on it. Jamie can't get past Gary towards turn 1, but is as close as he's been all race. Forsey then on the back of Tibbs. So has Tibbs made a mistake? Because Forsey further down the pack is on the back of him. Will have double DRS. And Tibbs then maybe just struggling with that front wing damage he's got. Forsey now, does he think about pulling out? No, stays behind. And we'll use that DRS down the start straight once again here. BC Gaming, Force catching Tibbs. Oh no, he says. Might be past Tibbs. Yellow flag sector 2. That is big boy Brazier off. As Forsey looking around the outside. Jamie gets going once again. Let's just go back to him. He's had a big off. Any damage? No, I think he's had a moment where Gary did. And Gary held it. Jamie hasn't. Forsey on the back of Tibbs. Is he going to look up the inside here? Does he send it? No, he doesn't. Lucas Roth getting within that DRS range. In fact, he's in DRS range of A. Smith here. Can he get past? So big boy Brazier will probably have to settle for P3 in this one. And Lucas Roth getting closer and closer and closer as we say good evening to Mother Davis in the chat. And Lucas Roth bit closer once again. DRS wide open, and Smith, he's got some wing damage on his car as well. Yellow flag sector 2. And that is DJ Phil, DNF. And it is a safety car then here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So everybody has to slow right down. Now then, what do you do in this situation? DJ Phil out of this race in 13th place. Smoky Devil speeding under the safety car. He's picked up a drive-through penalty, which he cannot do until the safety car has gone in. The question is, do you pit? Do you stay out? That is the biggest question. Who does what here? Dan stays out. Did Gary pit? He's going to, you know. Gotta be for the super softs. It has to be. Does Jamie do the same thing? They're well ahead of A. Smith. And do you know what? This could be an absolute belter of a call. Gary's got a bit of wing damage as well, so we'll get that repaired. Big boy Brazy is only coming into his box now. He's got a bit of wing damage. Smithy, he's going to box as well as Lucas Roth. So unorthodox here could be an absolute sitting duck. Gary in, super softs are on. Big boy Brazier is going soft. Interesting call from him. A. Smith has waited, he's in. Super softs, Lucas Roth is in. What tyre? Softs for him as well. PN comes in for the softs. Tibbs is going to come in. Forzie's in. Craigie is up to P3 at the minute. Gary on the super soft tyre could have played a belter of a strategy. Do you know, for Dan, he could possibly pit and still come out P4. In fact, saying that, Dan could possibly still could come out in the lead actually of this. What a call from everybody in this race at the moment. Does Dan box? Gary's coming at a rate of knots. There's a few back markers in between them. Does Dan think of boxing? No. Leon Fernie and Smoky Devil in the way of Gary and Dan. Dan now has left it too late to pit. Smithy, Forzie, Fury, Gary, all on the super soft tyre. Gary's gaining on the back of the pack. He'll have two cars in the way of him and his teammate and his rival Dan. Craigie pits, that might be the wrong call, as there goes Smithy. Here comes Lucas Roy. In fact, actually, you know what? Could get him out ahead of Lucas, maybe. No, possibly PN. This is a tough ask for Craigie. He's going to put fresh softs on. Here comes Lucas. He's gone past. PN will go past. Forzie might go past. Fury won't. Craigie now away. Here comes Forzie. Craigie will be ahead of Forzie, will he? Yep, he will be. He will be ahead of Forzie then. So we wait for the pack to catch up. The last car to catch the pack is Exit Tibbs. And Dan has a buffer of Leon Fernie and Smoky Devil in between him and Gary. But Gary on the more durable and faster tyre, on the less durable but faster tyre. And it's only going to have to do 8 laps because we're going to start lap 21. And there is still 6 cars to catch the safety car. This man being the last man, Exit Tibbs, to catch the safety car queue. As everybody coming in towards the end of the first, the middle part of the first sector, should I say. Lucas Roth and Piena just about to catch up to the pack. Tibbs then, the last man to get on the pack. They're coming to the end of the lap. Will the safety car be out for one more? Fury and Tibbs yet to get on the back of this pack. I reckon the safety car is doing one more lap. Indeed it is. So Gary will have an almighty task in front of him, clearing the back markers. And then getting past the feature race, by the way, nearly 40 laps long. It's 38 laps long is the feature race. And I hope I'm not shouting too much, but the ear's blocked and I'm struggling to hear. Tibbs now on the back of the pack, so it will be unorthodox to lead us away, and we await the safety car lights to go out. Brilliant, that's good then. As long as I'm not shouting, that's all we need to know. That's all good. Safety car in, and the clouds, I tell you what, the clouds are getting a bit darker here. So maybe a twist at the end of this race or for the feature race then. So Dan, look at him warming his tyres up aggressively. Smithy with the Wigan chance from the football yesterday. 3-lap-old super softs versus 22-lap-old softs. Dan has got a mountain in front of him, but he's got the bonus of 2 back markers behind him. This was a gamble for Gary 131, and a gamble that may have paid off. An absolute peach. Here we go. We're about to get racing. Dan has gone before the chicane. He'll now have to slow down and get straight back up to speed, and he does so. Now then, Gary 131, your progress through the back markers as we are green once again here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The back markers should move straight out the way, and Gary needs them to get out the way as quick as possible. Smoky Devil and Leon Fernie here will need to move. Gary up the inside of one. That'll be Smoky. That is job done. Leon Fernie next up for Gary, who will have such grip and speed and momentum over the other cars. It's unreal. Leon Fernie needs to stay to the one side. He does as well. Jamie Brazier now having to get on with this task. Up the inside of Smoky. Gary now can hunt after unorthodox as Forsey and Fury go side by side for a little bit, and that is job done for Forsey. Up into 7th, PN looking at the final points. Tibbs as well, trying to get himself back in the points here in this race. Lucas Roth to A. Smith. Half a second, Leon Fernie. 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. That's because A. Smith is now behind him and needs to get through. Gary, though, has sliced the gap to Dan. 4-lap super softs to 23-lap softs, and with the cloud cover getting thicker and darker, them super softs are going to work a bit better to Dan's older tyres, and Gary is charging here. Smoky gets past Leon Fernie, but Smoky Devil has got to do a drive-through penalty this lap. Here we go then, Gary to Dan. DRS will not be open until the end of the next lap. And Gary, flying at the moment, pumps in the fastest lap and is well within a second of unorthodox, and may have just played the strategy of a lifetime here. Because for this man, he's got to gamble it in these races, and he is gambling it at the moment. Absolute stellar performance. A strategy that he risked. Lucas Roth within 7/10 of A. Smith. Then we'll go back to that battle in a moment. But this, for the race lead on lap 25 of 28, Gary 131 is putting the pressure on the current championship leader. Smoky Devil in for his drive-through penalty. Gary behind Dan, and Dan's tyres here, he will not want them to go off at all. Smoky Devil completes his drive through, I do believe. Gary right on the back of Dan now, and he's just got so much more grip, so much more speed, so much more momentum than unorthodox in the lead. DRS will be open at the end of the next lap, and for Dan here, He can only sit and wait. He is a sitting duck, you feel. Look at the speed of Gary as Dan goes defensive into the chicane. Gary's got to be patient through here. Dan will be feeling the pressure as Gary turns the oven up. And he's going to bake himself a pretty little cake up the inside of Dan. No, doesn't think about it there. Patiently waiting. Another fastest lap for Gary, 1:31. Unorthodox, you feel. He's just waiting for Gary to pounce. Evening to Monkey Boy in the chat. Gary has to get this so right. Even Jamie Brazier's coming as well on his fresh soft tyres. Did Dan's strategy of not pitting work? And Plover in Dan's chat, let us know if there's rain around for the feature race then. As Gary now looks to the outside with DRS. Can't get it done. Has to yield, has to wait. Smokey back in the pit lane. Gary is coming. He's a man possessed. Is he going to look up the inside of the hairpin? No. But he's within that DRS range, and watch it flap open. Jamie's coming. A. Smith gaining on Jamie. Lucas Roth trying to stick with A. Smith, but A. Smith super softs are working him an absolute treat. Rear wing open now for Gary. Dan's already gone defensive, and Gary super softs. He's coming. Absolutely on fire at the minute. Breaks into the chicane. Has to cut the chicane, and they tap! They touch! And Gary's gone round! Oh, Lucas Roth into the back of Gary, 131. Major wing damage for Lucas Roth. And Gary somehow stays in this race. Forsey now gets past. So does Fury, Lucas Roth. They're having an epic battle as well. And Lucas Roth tries to come back on the inside. And Fury gets back past Forsey there. Lucas Roth down to 7th. Craigie still in the points. Tibbs dropped off the back of him. PN's 10th. And the super softs were going to work for Gary. It was just a matter of patience. Turn the oven off. The cake is burnt. It's been absolutely ruined. And Gary, 131. What a nightmare. Has he just gifted Unorthodox the race win? Closest battle, Fury to Gary. In fact, no, it's Forsey to Fury, in fact. Unbelievable, says Beastie Gaming. Why did Gary go for the inside? Yellow flag sector 3, and who's that now? That's A. Smith. He's dropped it in the wall of champions, and he's in the wall. Not the wall of champions, oh, the opposite one. And he's now out the points. ART in this last 2 laps have threw it away. Fury is right on the back of Gary now. Forsey still with them, all 3 on the super softs. And Dan is sailing off to another race win, you feel here. Gifted it, you may say. Gary, though, what has happened? Gary had it with the time, says Beastie, he did. Little Smith, what a helmet, says Smithy in the chat. But for this man, it's all carrots and roses. Fury looking to attack Gary, 131. May have DRS on Gary here, and Forsey wants to make it 3 wide. Fury has got past Gary. Forsey's now going to attack Gary, but we go to this man then, who's not quite there yet. Let's go back to Gary and Forsey. Now we'll go to Dan, and for this man, probably should have been a second. It's going to be a race win though. Number 43 at Simplay. Big Boy Brazier will come home for a P2, and Fury is going to make it a P3. What a drive from him. Forsey 4th, Gary 5th. In fact, Lucas Roth 5th. Gary 5-second penalty. Gary drops down to 8th. 0 points for him. So Forsey will get 4th. Craigie up to 5th. Great result for him. Lucas Roth will get 6th place. Exit Tibbs on his debut will get 7th. Gary 131 only 8th place. 10th for Smithy. And we just wait Smoky Devil, who's going to come to the line now. But you have to say there, what was Gary 131 doing? I think Gary will come away with the fastest lap as well. As they cross the line then. Gary 131 may have just threw away a few points here. So I'm not sure why that's not referencing the points properly. For Gary. Not quite sure what's going off here for Gary 131. As we do seem to be having a bit of a problem with his points updating here. Either way, that is your order. Gary did take fastest lap. We'll try and get the points sorted, and we'll be back in just a moment with the updated tables.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born to win, watch me elevate.
To the Formula 2s here, we have got the tables all sorted out and ready to go then in this one. Championship looks a little like this. If you're on Orthodox, you're 11 points clear of Big Boy Brazy. Gary 131 now 44 behind. Forzy 66 off the back with A. Smith P5 10 points clear. PM Motorsport who goes ahead of Mazda. Lucas Roth down on 42. Fury ahead of Rabbit Joe now. He's got Craigie on the back of him. DJ Phil on 19 ahead of Smoky Devil. And Leon Fernie then Smoky Devil. Bozzy Boy on 7. Sudsy Apex on 5 and Exit Tibbs on 2. Bryn on 1. Shane on none. No that Bozzy Boy for race 2 here. Pramer or second to Colin, who go back into the lead of this one by 1 point. ART are 23 behind. Then it's High Tech, Trident, Univirtuosi Racing, HWA Race Life, Campos, Charouz, MP Motorsport, and Dams tied. Dams, MP Motorsport, and Charouz cannot win the championship. Neither can Lucas Roth, Fury, Rabbit Joe, Craigie, DJ Phil, Leon Fernie, or Smoky Devil then. What a dramatic and interesting race 2 that was. Race 1 that was, should I say. Absolutely nail-biting stuff. And Gary 131, lack of patience that maybe cost him in that race. But who will win the feature race? Unorthodox, the man on pole. Gary 131 starts from 3rd. Jamie from 2nd, Dan from 1st, A. Smith 4th. Forsy's down in 5th for this one. Tibbs on his 2nd outing now, down in 9th place. And just to say that for Unorthodox was race win number 43, race win number 7 of the season. So 7 more races left to go, including this one now. Can Dan get to his 50th race win before the end of the season? Just looking at some others out there. Why did Gary go for that inside? Unbelievable. Gary had it with the time. Points again for Tibbs. Let's go. Finish strong. Fury, says Mr. Kennedy. What a spring from all the drivers. So entertaining. Great commentary. Super fun event to watch then. As for the feature race, it's green and go here, and Jamie Brazier's not got moving, and that, I do believe, was A. Smith into the back of him, carnage on the line, and Gary then up into P2, virtual safety car straight away, as Big Boy didn't move. PN damage, Craig E damage, Smokey damage, I believe, was it A. Smith? No, it may have been Smokey then. And I do believe there is rain around for the end of this race, and Plava has told me. But a virtual safety car, that'll help Lucas Roth early doors with his fuel, as there's 39 laps. And what tyre are the drivers on? That's the big question. Everybody's gone softs, fresh softs for the drivers. And Jamie did not move there at all. Top 10 score points in this race. It's turned into actually a full-blown safety car. So for Gary here, for everybody here then, a chance to pit and a chance to do something. So the start of this race has already had an interesting turn here. As Jamie up another place, Leon Fernie's in the pits, Smokey pits there, double stacking, Craigie and PN in the pits. Mr. Kennedy, man, that just wrecked havoc for 6 drivers. They should pay attention at the start. Tibbs, 5th out of it, let's go, says Beastie Gaming. What happened to Jamie? Jamie just did not move for Leon Fernie. He's in now. Bozzy Boy missed this race, but we're going to get him in on the commentary with us then. So let's get that Bozzy Boy in the commentary box with us for this feature race. But for Dan then, everybody at the back's gone on to the super softs early, so I reckon they're going to have to pit again here. Jamie just didn't move. It was like he wasn't there. Either way, safety car on the track. Smokey Devil, the last car to catch the pack. As I've just checked down the stream there, and Plava telling him to remember the rules of the second race. Obviously, Dan and that Bozzy Boy last week got disqualified for not doing 6 laps on 1 tyre. So everybody's got to make sure that it put me in anti-stall off the line and kept me in neutral. said Jamie Brazier in the chat. As we await Smoky Devil gaining on the rest of the pack. Not a million miles away, Leon Fernie. Smokey got held. That's probably why he's lost out to Craig and PN. He got held. He came in the pit second. He's come out last. PN back in the pit lane. Now, that, I imagine, is to go onto the softs. I don't know why PN doesn't do his strategy on the super softs and go back to the soft tyre towards the end of the race, unless he wants to be quicker at the end. Either way, not really going to lose much time under the safety car. As 83% of the chat at the moment reckon Danny's going to win this race. The only other vote's gone the way of Gary 131. Don't forget, join us in the F2s next week at Singapore. Lucas Roth versus Gary 131. Long story, but I'm sure I'll tell it next week. That'll be an absolute fantastic battle to see. As well as join Unorthodox 16, Dan Davis live Thursday night, 8 PM British summertime BST for our second round of the ACC Championship at the Hungaro Ring. Myself, Bossoff, Mazda and plenty of others will be on track, as well as the likes of Forzy, Lucas Roth, Fury, Big Boy Brazier and Smoky Devil and PM Motorsport in that championship. Top 7 going to be one hell of a battle, says Beastie Gaming. And my winning vote is for Tibbs. He just wasn't on the list. Well, that's because I knew he was going to be starting P9. But he's up to 5th here, so Tibbs has got a chance. Now, he's up to... What's happened there? Has Lucas Roth just looked up the inside a moment there, I wonder. Either way, we are awaiting this man on the back of the pack. Smoky Devil's just getting there. Here comes this man, PN Motorsport. Lap 4 of 39. And he comes now to hopefully gain on the back of the pack this lap. I imagine he will. Should quite easily, I'd imagine. Safety car then is coming in this lap. PN not yet on the back of it, so he's got to go hell for leather here to make sure he's on the back of the safety car then. And Dan warming them tyres up. And when does Dan decide to go? Very steady at the minute. PN is now on the back of the pack. And Dan's still not gone yet. Forzy's up to 3rd. Keep your eye on him. You see there, Tibbs warming his wheels up as well. Dan now goes. And Gary has gone with him and has stuck with him. And as they come down towards turn 1, Gary is as close as he was in race 1. And is he going to look up the inside? No, he's going to choose and just wait. But goes right around the outside of Dan. And Dan does leave him the space. And Gary there then should just sniff up the inside. Has a no still. Now tucks back in behind on Orthodox. Will he have a look into the second chicane? Turn 2 and 3. 3 and 4, sorry. No, he won't. And has to settle and wait. So Dan from Gary, Forzy, A. Smith. Then it's exit Tibbs. Lucas Roth has Fury up the inside of him, and Lucas Roth squeezed him to the wall. Now Lucas Roth comes back at him. Job done. No, Fury hanging it around the outside. Inside for the next corner. Has to get out of it. Big Boy Brazier up to 8th. Didn't move off the line. Got himself ahead of DJ Phil now. So he's up into 9th. Into 8th. DJ Phil has Leon Fernie up his inside in 10th place. Look at this battle. Leon Fernie's going to try it on with Big Boy Brazier. And Phil in the wall. And how that's not took a front wheel off, I do not know. Craig Eel to 10th, Phil now down to 11th, Smoky Devil 12th, and PM Motorsport 13th on Orthodox. And leads from Gary 131. We've got Bozzy in the party, not sure if you can see the action at the moment. DJ Phil now gets out of Craig. Dan coming down this back part of the circuit with Gary 131 right behind him. DRS will not be open until the end of the third lap after the safety car. And on lap 5, Dan slowly pulling away from Gary 131. In the background, though, A. Smith putting Forsey under some immense pressure. And Lucas Roth putting Exit Tibbs under pressure. Yellow flag, sector 3. What's happened back here? There's been a spinner, and it is DJ Phil Green then, who has gone right round and has front wing damage there. So he's already had a bit of a bad start to the first race, had a terrible start to this second one. A. Smith putting Forsey under a bit of pressure. Fury putting Tibbs under pressure now. He's been passed by Lucas Roth. Tibbs coming under some pressure now from Fury, but trying to do some attacking as well on the back of Lucas Roth. That is Smithy and Forsey going side by side, and Smithy looking to get on the podium with his teammate here, and Tibbs got it all out of shape. How he held on to that, I don't know. Smithy up the inside of Forsey, job done. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. Position granted for him. And that puts him up to P3 in this one at the minute. Dan pulling a gap from Gary. Forsey back up the inside of A. Smith and gets that one stopped and says, I'll have that one back. Fury up the inside of Tibbs as well. So there's battles no matter where you look. Lucas Roth, an early safety car would have helped him for fuel. 39 laps is this feature race, and here comes Keegs as the top two have just disappeared. Forsey, Smithy, Keegs, Fury and Exit Tibbs all in a train here with Big Boy Brazier coming. And Fury bounces off the wall of champions. Little bit of damage maybe on that car. Yes, he's lost an end plate. So Fury may start to struggle, but he's right up the Lucas Roth's gearbox here of that Carlin car. No Rabbit Joe for Trident tonight. And Carlin back in that constructors lead at the moment. DJ Phil in the pits. He's got a task to take them tyres all the way. Here comes then Fury, still on the back, but Leon Fernie's actually gaining on the back of Big Boy Brazier. That'll be the super softs. Yellow flag, sector 2. It's Gary 131. He's had another drama. He's also got wing damage. DJ Phil has gone on the wet tyre here. DJ Phil on the wet tyre, what has he done there? But Gary 131 has had a moment. Gary trying to get the DRS on Fury. Will Gary just dive into the pit lane? Fury will. Gary will follow. And that will give Jamie Brazier P5. Leon Fernie up to 6th. Craigie will be up to 7th. Smoky Devil 9th. DJ Phil is... you're not seeing this wrong, folks. DJ Phil is on the wet tyre. I don't quite know what DJ Phil's doing here. Oh, Dan's coming through to lap him. Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm really not sure what Phil's doing. Tibbs is in the pits as well, so he's pitted for the super softs. He's got to do well to get them to the end. Right, Smithy, 2/10 off the back of Forsey then. That is DJ Phil. Can't overtake under yellow flags. As Smithy, clips the wall a little bit there, and that might make Lucas Roth a bit interested. Forsey has a chance here to gain on Gary 131. Yellow flag sector 3. That is for a very slow DJ Phil. Dan pumps in the fastest lap. Forsey, A. Smith, Lucas Roth. Look at this little battle developing right here. Smithy up the inside of Forsey. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots, he says, as Forsey's going to come straight back at him. And Lucas Roth might look around the outside of both of them. Tucks underneath A. Smith, and that job done on Smithy. That is P3 for Lucas Roth. And the Carlin car making all sorts of moves. DJ Phil's back in the pits. Wonder why that might be, as now Big Boy Brazier and Leon Fernie are on the back. Leon Fernie swings out, looking up the inside of Big Boy Brazier. Job done. Jamie does not want any of that. 10 seconds the gap. Second place to Unorthodox. Dan has a free pit stop nearly over these boys. And now Forsey defending from A. Smith. Lucas Roth now under attack from Leon Fernie. But Leon Fernie, let's not forget, on 7-lap old Super Soft. So he's got to pit again. They're never getting to the end. And he is making moves, though, as Lucas Roth's going to have a look up the inside of Smith. He tucks underneath behind Forsey. And they're all, what a gaggle of cars. This is what an absolute battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. As Lucas Roth does get himself ahead of A. Smith. And with DRS here, this could be interesting. Lucas Roth to the outside of Forsey then, into the chicane. Has he got it done? He has. Forsey has to yield for 3rd. Smithy 4th now. Leon Fernie in 5th. And Big Boy Brazier in 6th. When Gary crashed, did he hit Tibbs? No, I don't think so, because Tibbs was behind Fury and Gary rejoined ahead of Fury. So Tibbs must have just clipped a wall. Very easy to clip a wall here. And Gary must have just clipped a wall. Yellow flag sector 1. Now what's going off here? That is A. Smith and Smokey Devil and Craig E. A. Smith was off. Well then, the ART boys are not having it their own way. DJ Phil's pit crew have managed to find a dry tyre for him and have put him on the Super Softs. Gary, fastest lap of the race. He's charging. Needs top 10 though for the point to count. So it's Unorthodox from Lucas Roth, Carlin 1-2, then Forsey. They have gapped Leon Fernie a little bit. Who else was in this battle? Not quite sure. No, it was just these 4. No, there was another one. It was A. Smith, wasn't it? But A. Smith was off at turn 1. Big Boy now trying to look on the back of Leon Fernie once again. And you get the feeling that Leon Fernie's tyres may just be dying here. Got told by PM Motorsport on Friday that the Super Softs do not get you many laps. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. There's another car off. That is Gary 131 in the same place. He's dropped it again. No wing damage this time, but A. Smith does. He's in the pits. ART are having a nightmare. PN up to 8th. A. Smith could be a while. Look at the length of this pit stop. Where's Fury? He's coming, as is Gary. A. Smith front wing on, rear with tyre. Done. Second rear tyre. Done. Jack up. Front's on. A. Smith's going to lose out to his teammate. He's only just pulled out his pit box. Gary will be in the top 10. May lose out to, no, DJ Phil's a lap down. So Dan from Lucas Roth. Forsey. Look at this battle. Leon Fernie there. Wow, has massively cut the chicane. And all his tyres just going off. Jamie Brazier, DRS, and maybe an extra position up the inside of Leon Fernie. Has to slow it down a bit more because Forsey didn't get the best of runs, and that'll help Leon Fernie. But Big Boy Brazier, he's got to be wise. He's got to think, but he's losing points to Dan. He lost points to him in the first race by finishing behind him. He's going to lose points again here. And Forsey looking. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Fury off, and there's no front wing. And he patiently waits and lets Gary through. So Gary up to 9th now. Forsey looking on Lucas Roth once again here. And Lucas Roth's fuel. Yeah, plenty in the tank for Lucas Roth at the moment. Forsey on the back of him. Then it's Leon Fernie and Jamie Brazier still sat behind. Craigie 9/10 off the back of Smokey Devil. Good points for the Campos team at the moment. Leon Fernie's going to look up the inside of Forsey, is he? No, he might be defending from Jamie as well there. Hard to decipher which one he was going for, the defensive or the aggressive, because he's got good pace at the minute. Fury now pits, so that'll put him onto the softs. I imagine he's got to come back onto the super softs, as he's not yet done 6 laps. And here then comes Leon Fernie, trying to gain on the back of the cars in front. Big Boy Brazier on board him. This is his view. as Fury, leaving the pits now, has been lapped by Unorthodox. Jamie is just trying to hang on. Smoky Devil's gaining on Craigie here, look. So we've got a little fight here. Gary's got 20 seconds to get on the back of PM. Here comes Smoky Devil, in fact, looking on Craigie. And is Smoky Devil going to be up the inside? He is going to be up the inside. Good little move that from Smoky Devil. And puts himself up into P6. He's now got 11 seconds to gain on this gaggle of cars. Rosa, Leda, Matos, Garcia, Super Mac in the chat. Not sure who that's for. As Forsey then looking up the inside of Lucas Roth. That is a cracking switchback. And a great manoeuvre. Jamie Brazier watching this from behind Leon Fernie. And Forsey into P2. Gets it stopped, but very slow. Forcing Lucas Roth into the wall nearly. And they bounce off each other. And now Leon Fernie looks to split them. And wow, big off. At the moment when Robert Kubica had his big crash. Virtual safety car. And that was huge. Leon Fernie tried to split the pair. He's got past Lucas Roth as well, but has a bit of end plate damage. Forsey has done well to still be in this race. Soy de España. I don't speak Spanish, buddy. I don't even know what that means. I can say it. I don't even know what it means. So, unfortunately, but I can't understand you there. But Forsey in the pits for the Super Soft. And well then, Leon Fernie tried to make that 3 wide by going through the middle. The gap was never there. And Forsey bounces off the back of Lucas Roth. Smokey's in, as is Craigie. And Craigie has jumped Smoky Devil. Smoky Devil, I think, has had a front wing change. So Smoky Devil losing out, goes onto that Super Soft. Gary then up to P6 at the moment. Gary's been speeding. Oh, he's got a drive-through penalty. Speeding under the virtual safety car as it has ended. And now has a drive-through. Lucas Roth on the back of Leon Fernie. He's going to look up the inside of the hairpin and gets that one done, no problem. The two Scotsmen fighting it out. As we are nearly approaching the halfway mark of this race. I tell you what, it's been absolutely mayhem in the mid-pack. Dan has gone out front. Calling 1-2 at the moment. Leon Fernie down in third. He's got Big Boy Brazier right behind him. No DRS though. Gary 131. Drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. In he comes then to get the VS, to get his drive-through done. Forsey down in, up now to 6th. Where's Craigie? He'll be 7th. Smoky Devil should take 8th place away from Gary. A. Smith might in fact take a place away from Gary as Gary comes towards the end of the pit lane. A. Smith and Smoky Devil through. Gary trundles along. Exit Tibbs is going to get past Gary 131. Gary out the pits, might be on the outside of Tibbs coming into turn 2. No, will be behind him. Fury a bit too far back. So it's Dan from Lucas. Leon Fernie's now got ahead of Lucas, and here's Big Boy Brazier. And Leon Fernie back up into P2, Lucas Roth P3. And for Big Boy Brazier, he's going to look at a P3 off of Lucas Roth. He gets that position on the DRS, job done. Lucas Roth still no DRS, gets very close to the back of Jamie's car. Leon Fernie really pushing these super stuffs, and awesome length, because I got told they die very quickly. Yellow flag sector 2. That is, I believe, A. Smith. It is. Rolls out the way. Tibbs goes through. Gary goes through. And ART have had a nightmare of a race. Yellow flag clears. Oh! Lucas hits the back of Jamie. And Jamie gets a bit of wing damage, you do believe. Can't quite tell from this camera angle. Lucas Roth gets away with it. Jamie, bit of end plate damage. Darren in the chat. Commentary makes this race series brilliant work, chaps. Thank you very much, Darren. Appreciate the kind words. But Lucas Roth hot on the brakes there and taps the rear of Jamie Brazier. And I tell you what an epic race. Down to Tibbs in P9, where he qualified for his first ever, or second race should it be. Has the two-time Pro GT3 champ on the back of him. Lost force feedback, says Fury. So he's driving without force feedback at the moment. What a nightmare for him. And Gary then is now putting the pressure on Tibbs. A bit of a wiggle there out the exit to the corner. And he's trying to really put the hammer down. Gary looking up the inside of Tibbs, and Tibbs yields and gives Gary that place. And that's where Gary keeps making mistakes in this race, and Tibbs is round in the wall. I presume has got a bit of front wing damage. Fury a bit behind. That is Unorthodox, who's coming through to lap Tibbs. And does Tibbs have a bit of front wing damage? No, he's actually got away with that. These front wings are a lot stronger and tougher than the F1 ones. Dan puts a lap then on Tibbs. So Danny's just gone. Leon Fernie up in second. 2 seconds out of Big Boy Brazier, but Jamie's yet to pit. And you'd imagine Leon Fernie on the softer tyre will have to pit as well. Tibbs now out of the points in this race. And this, the closest fight on track. Big Boy Brazier to Leon Fernie. .7 seconds the gap. Beastie saying no in the chat because Tibbs is his man. Got points on his debut, and it's going to be tough for Tibbs to get points in this one. Everybody has had a cracking race. Sorry, Dan has had a cracking race. Everybody else have had their own little mistakes or hindrances here or there. 23 people watching the stream, 15 likes. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button, hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And don't forget to hit that all-important big red subscribe button for all the action here at Simplay Motorsport. Coming up Thursday night, 8 PM BST, ACC, 1 hour race, Hungaro Ring. Unorthodox 16, aka Dan Davis, will be bringing you the action of that one, and I'll be back next Sunday 7:30 BST for all your coverage as there is a VSC. Not sure why, but this could play dividends for whoever's by the pit lane. Danny's one, and Dan will box. Not sure who's behind him. That is DJ Phil. He stays out. Tibbs comes in as well. Fury's the next man, so Fury could get past Tibbs. Join us next week, don't forget, 7:30 BST for Singapore in the F2s. What a race that could be. Fury in the pits. I think it's him who's got no front wing. Tracy in the chat. Go Tibbs. As Smokey Devil now has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. And we've lost Fury. I think Fury has retired from this race. No force feedback, so I do believe he's retired then. No one else coming in the pits. Dan has pitted. Leon Fernie still not pitted. And Dan is now right in front of Leon Fernie and Big Boy Brazier. Can Dan get them tyres 21 laps? As we go racing here once again, Jamie is close to Leon Fernie and Leon Fernie is close to Dan. Dan, though, has the upper hand on the tyres. Can't race with no force feedback, just feels so light and weird. Unfortunate for Fury, that, because he was doing so well after his podium in race 1. But when it's too tough with no force feedback, you know, you can't really say more than that. Smokey Devil in the pits, he comes then. And at the minute, he's doing exactly everything he needs to do. As Jamie then looking all over the back of Leon Fernie there. Can't get it done. Dan's already checked out 2.5 seconds, by the way. As Gary gaining on his teammate then, 2/10 the gap between Smith and Gary, both in the points. And for these two, what could have been tonight, because it's just been a bit poor from the ART team altogether here. That's a bummer. Wish you would have battled with Tibbs, says BST Gaming. As Tibbs now 38 seconds to Smoky Devil, but as fresh as soft tyres, super soft tyres. Tell you what, these lads are going to struggle to get his tyres to the end. Big Boy and Lucas and PN could be right in the box seat here. Danny's going to struggle to get them towards the end of this race. Gary into the pits. No, he's done 11 laps on them tyres. Clearly feels that the softs are going to get him to the end. Smoky Devil will get past Tibbs, too far back. 2 then, Big Boy Brazier we go. And this could be an all-important couple of places here, as Gary does go back onto his softs, 7-lap old softs. He knows they'll do 28 laps. He's only got to do 19 plus his 7, so yep, they'll get to the end. So only 26 laps on them soft tyres. So Gary will get to the end of this race. Unorthodox, fastest lap of the race. Fuel gets lighter, cars get better. Dan could be struggling at the end here, but you just feel 5 seconds ahead of Big Boy Brazier already that Dan has got this race won. It's going to take a safety car, you'd imagine, at this point to really ruin his race, because every lap he does before a safety car comes out, you feel like Dan's just going to pull further ahead, and the further he gets ahead, the more of a safety car free pit stop he has. Yellow flag sector 3. That is Ace Smith, who's had a moment at the hairpin, that seems to be. That's off in a very strange place at the hairpin. And Smoky Devil now up into 8th place, and ART have had an absolute shocker. Jamie has stared at the back of Leon Fernie majority of this race. He cannot get past Leon Fernie. And with DRS once again, you have to admit, Leon Fernie, 19 laps on them super softs. He's gone absolute miles and is doing the business at the minute. Brazier is now going to look up the inside. Surely Leon Fernie's going to dive into the pit lane. He does so. Dan does another fastest lap of this race. Now Jamie, clear air, clear track, can head after Dan. Through the second and third chicane they go. Where does Leon Fernie come out the pit lane? The tyres go on the car now. Craig E comes into the final chicane. This might be tight, you know. Here comes Craig. Leon Fernie off the limiter now. And Craig E, watch for Leon Fernie appear on the left-hand side. There he is. Leon Fernie stays P6, or comes out P6. Has put the super softs on again here. And we've lost Tibbs. He's retired from the race. What has happened? Not sure what's happened there, but he is very slow. But we've lost Tibbs from this race. Dan does another fastest lap. No safety car or anything. DJ Phil's now in the pits, and Tibbs will finish down in 12th place. What a shame on his second outing for him. So we lose Tibbs from this race. Closest gap on track, Craig E to Leon. But that is because Leon Fernie has just put fresher tyres on. My force feedback went out like furies. Too light to control the car, says Tibbs. We've lost Smithy! There's been another crash! This time it's a safety car! So Tibbs and Fury's force feedback have gone kaput. And for A. Smith, it's going to be 11th place, because DJ Phil will get past him. What a shame for Tibbs. Gary up to 9th, and we have a safety car here. Right then, big boy Lucas and PN, what do you do? Because for Jamie Brazier, he can be on the same tyre as Dan, and it will be 5 laps younger. Good job from Tibbs, says Stacey. And dang it, nice try, says Beastie. Great job, Tibbs. Well done on your first outing. Can't wait to see what you can do next week at Singapore. Dan obviously stays out. DJ Phil just gets himself past Tibbs and should get himself past Smithy. I'd imagine any time now, to be fair. Jamie boxes. Lap 23 of 39. Jamie in. Leon Fernie has a penalty. Jamie getting a new front wing as well. Lucas Roth is going to come in. PN, is he backing off a little bit? Big boy Brazier, front wing on, rear tyres done. As Lucas Roth there, boxes as well. Front tyres going on now. PN's just coming in as Jamie is just pulling out. Great stop from the crew. Lucas Roth. He's had a front wing change. Forzie's in as well. Lucas Roth now away. Jamie coming out the pits. Where's Leon Fernie? Leon Fernie will get PN and Forzie, and Lucas Roth will not get big boy Brazier. So Jamie out in front of Leon Fernie and on fresher tyres. Dan, the car behind Dan, will be DJ Phil. This man's got an interesting choice here then. What does he do? Just say, by the way, DJ Phil is still yet to have passed A. Smith in this race. So a shame to lose Tibbs, a shame to lose Fury. And for A. Smith then, he's got no points in this. DJ Phil now gets past him. Dan on the back of the safety car. Jamie will want DJ Phil to pit or something to get out the way and get Jamie through. That's what he'll be wanting. Whether he'll get his wish is another thing. Leon Fernie third, Craigie fourth. Get to the end on them tyres quite easily. Lucas Roth down in fifth. That'll be a big one. Podium maybe for him. Another safety car. That'll really help with his fuel. PN sixth at the minute. Good points. Forzie seventh. Gary in eighth. The bonus for Dan here is it saves his tyres. So we're awaiting. Gary, in fact, Smokey Devil will be the last car to catch the safety car queue. More points on offer, don't forget, for the feature race. F1 style points. And we're just going to stay on board Smokey Devil while we wait for him to get to the back of the pack. Craigie up in fourth. He's had a good night tonight, has Craig. Had a very good night indeed. As we'll get the driver of the day poll out at around lap 35. For Dan here, this man is blocking him and Jamie. This safety car will help him, otherwise his tyres may have been really shot towards the end. PN told me on Friday, met with PN on Friday, spoke to PN. The super softs do not last. Jamie's put them on when the safety car come out. Great call from Jamie Brazier, that. Dan put them on 7 laps ago. Jamie, 2 laps ago. Singapore next week. Let's hear in the chat what you expect to see around Singapore. Street circuit, do believe it'll probably be a night race as well. I'm not sure if the F2s... Let me know if someone in the chat, let me know if they actually race there in the F2s. Gary's now in the pits, fresh. Super softs to the end, but will be behind Smokey Devil. So we will await Gary 131, who's coming out the pits now. So does the safety car go in this lap? If it does, then oh dear for Dan. If it doesn't, Dan will probably want the safety car to stay out as long as possible. So the fact that Smokey and Gary are yet to be on the back of the pack is probably a bonus for Dan. It's not going to be, though. Gary should have pitted a lot earlier, should I say. Him and Smokey have got to go flat out here because the safety car is coming in. And Gary is some 35, 34 seconds off the back of this pack. Dan will restart for the third time. Every safety car, Dan has been in the lead. Lucas will want to clear Craigie quickly. Leon Ferry's had them super softs on for 4 laps now. When does Dan choose to go? He's leaving it later this time. He goes now out the chicane. The question is this man? He's got to clear Phil. We go racing the minute you see green. We go racing now. DJ Phil, get out of the way of Jamie Brazier. That's what he'll be screaming down the headset. As Leon Fernie taps the back of Phil, has a moment. And Lucas Roth around the outside of Craigie, looking around the outside of Leon Fernie. DJ Phil now stays to the left, and Jamie Brazier will come through. Lucas Roth past Craigie. And now looking to get past Leon Fernie as DJ Phil has to take to the grass to stay out of the way. Here comes PN and Forsey. And the strategy for Gary did not work there. Forsey gets past PN Motorsport. Where is PN? He's right there, look. On a lap younger super soft. I think Forsey clipped the back of Phil, and Phil, 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. He now gets out of the way of Forsey and gets out of the way of PN Motorsport. 3 laps till the DRS. And Dan wants to get on with this, and Phil has to avoid PN Motorsport as he was turning in. PN was there. Now Smokey Devil and Gary, who are only just getting onto the back of this pack. So it's Dan from Jamie from Leon Fernie with Lucas Roth right behind. What a result this will be for Leon. It took big boy Brazier a while to get past Leon Fernie. It's took Lucas Roth up the inside. No, outside for the next corner. Again, can't get it done round there. Craigie watching behind. PN 7/10 off the back of Forsey now, and Gary 4 seconds to Smokey Devil. Gary needs as many points as he can to stay in this championship fight for unorthodox then. He needs to hope and pray his tyres last. As Lucas Roth tries to go up the inside, and Leon Fernie rightly there lets him off the place and tucks back underneath. And now Lucas Roth, still no DRS, but a set of tyres that are 2 laps younger, has Leon Fernie in the palm of his hands here. Going to try and set him up at the hairpin. Up the inside goes Lucas Roth. Has he got that one done? You bet your bottom dollar he has. That is P3 and on the podium once again for the calling car. Craigie under pressure now from Forsey in the background. As Gary's now within 2 seconds of Smokey Devil. Forsey still looking at the back of Craig. DRS enabled this lap. And Jamie is nowhere near the DRS zone of Dan. Leon Fernie will be in it of Lucas Roth, and Forsey will be in it of Craigie. In fact, at the minute, Craigie just has now dropped out of it from Leon Fernie. Forsey then, great pressure at the minute to try and stay on the back and stay with him. Craigie, 16 old laps softs, but I tell you what, Craig softs are going to be in better shape at the end of this race than their super softs. I tell you now, Dan, 10 laps on them, Smokey Devil 17. How Leon Fernie got 19 laps after him, I don't know. Forsey up the inside of Craigie though, with DRS, job done. Gary 131 on Smokey Devil, not just yet. He's going to look round the outside. It might be better for Gary to wait for DRS. I think he hasn't I think, though, he's just got past Smoky Devil at the wrong time. Gary up the inside of Smoky. Yes, nice and easy. As you go, DJ Phil 2 laps down, but will score a point in this race. That's the most important thing. Gary, though, up into P8. Smoky Devil has DRS, as does Craigie, who's trying to gain. Big boy Brazier now, fastest lap of the race. That's crucial. Somebody's wings just fell off there. Not sure whose that was. There was a bit of wing on the straight. Is that Leon Fernie's wing? He's got a time penalty, but he's right up the gearbox of Lucas Roth here. 2/10 has a time penalty to his name. Oh, he's just cut the corner there. And it is Leon. He's got both end plates missing. And he's just losing a bit of time through the corners there to Lucas Roth. Jamie Brazier now. 2.3 to unorthodox. Fastest man out on circuit so far. Leon Fernie, damage wing, will he pit? The question is there rain around? Is that what Dan is hoping for? And Plova said earlier to me on a message that there is a spot of rain here or there towards the end. Will it come early enough, though? 10 laps to go in this race. And this, from Leon Fernie, has been a decent feature race. Poor sprint, but a decent feature. Right on the back of Keegs. His DRS flaps open now. Lap 31 for these guys. 9 laps to go. He looks up the inside of Lucas Roth. Can't get it done there. PM Motorsport now within a second of Craigie. And Gary, 3 seconds off the back of PM. Jamie has that gap to 2 seconds to Dan. His tyres are 5 laps younger. Smoky Devil has a free pit stop to DJ Phil as he is 2 laps down. And you just get the sense here that Leon Fernie's just losing out to Lucas Roth. He'll have DRS though. Will he get it in the next zone? Yes, he will. But he's just losing out now. He's got that wing damage. He's just losing that momentum. And he's losing that time to Keegs behind. Bit of a wiggle out the hairpin. Leon Fernie now comes down the back straight. Really needs to get on with this one as soon as he can. Here he comes, getting closer. But that wing damage again, you're just going to feel he'll hurt him through this section of the track. Not actually out bad from Leon Fernie. Actually gained time over Lucas Roth. DRS open. Getting closer then. It's the longer corners. PN pits. Now, why is PN Motorsport pitted for a fresh set of super softs? The wall evening. Go on, Dan, he says in the chat. So Smoky Devil up to 8th. PN pitted for a new set of super softs, a fresh set. Big boy might catch first if the super soft gives out on dubs, he says. And Jamie is definitely coming. Lucas Roth is also having to still defend from Leon Fernie here. And Jamie will gain more points over Dan if for winning a first and second in this race than what Dan did over him in the sprint. 2 points the difference in the sprint, 5 the difference in the feature. And Jamie's now within a second of unorthodox. Was he there though? Before the DRS zone? We'll find out now, won't we? He was indeed. Dan is struggling. And all the tyres giving way for unorthodox. Has the strategy not worked? Oh, Jamie! Jamie's pitted. Now I'm confused here. No wing damage and in for fresh super softs. And Jamie's now P7. Now I am baffled. But then Lucas Roth to unorthodox. Danny's going to gain massive points over his championship rivals in this one. And you feel that tonight Dan has been gifted 2 race wins. Gary had the upper hand in race 1. lost out. Jamie lost out. Same corner both times. Beastie didn't mean to pit. I don't think he did. Why he went in the pit, so I do not know. And for Prema, as well as ART, they are going to lose massive points to these two. It's a calling 1-2. Lucas Roth from Dan from Leon Fernie. And Lucas Roth here, if Dan tyres are bad and has to pit again, Lucas Roth might win this race from Leon Fernie. Leon Fernie, though, has that time penalty, let's not forget. I do not get big boy strategy there. He braked so late. Went into the back of Dan and pitted. Beastie says he didn't mean to. Had to be to avoid the crash going into that corner. Why he didn't just cut the corner and take the consequences, I do not know. He's probably lost more time doing that. He's now down in 7th and he's some 9 seconds behind Gary. Gary gaining on Craigie, so he's going to gain points over Jamie tonight as well. And for this man, this is the closest battle on track at the minute until Gary gets within that second of Craig. It's gone very dark though. Is this Jamie's thinking? Dan gapping Keegs a little bit. Keegs still under pressure from Leon Fernie just. Gary at the DRS zone. Too far back from Craigie. Is he actually? No, he might not be, you know. Tell you what, Gary might be in DRS range of Craigie here. He's kicking himself for going to the pits. He must be. He has to be, Beastie. Has to be kicking himself. Driver of the Day poll has just gone up. Vote for who you think for Driver of the Day. If you don't think Driver of the Day was on there, let me know in the chat. But Danny's pulling from Lucas Roth. Forzie's now in the pits. Now his tyres look battered, but there is no rain around. So Craig and Gary gifted a 4th and 5th at the minute. Gary might be on for 4th. Could even get P3 if Leon Fernie's penalty's big enough. Jamie gets past Forzie now. PN will not. Leon Fernie, another time penalty. Let's just check this. 6 seconds. Craigie, 3-second time penalty. So for Gary, get past Craigie, get close enough to Leon Fernie, whose tyres might be just going off. I'm surprised DJ Phil doesn't pit for the wet, says B. Stay in the chat. Well, it's going dark enough. But there is no rain. Forzie's gone back onto 13 lap old soft. I don't get the tactic. Forzie was on for a P4. Good points, maybe a podium. Phil's back in the pits. For the soft tyre though, it looks like, and a fresh front wing. Dan carries on. Lucas Roth, I'll be surprised, I wonder if Dan will give Lucas Roth a race win here. I wonder if that's the case. Leon Fernie 3rd. Gary needs to clear Craigie. He's going to go up the inside now. Craigie will yield and give Gary that place. Gary now needs to gain some 3 seconds to Leon Fernie. 2, get within that penalty window of Leon Fernie's. Fastest lap, big boy Brazier. Unfortunately for Jamie, he might get Craigie, but it's too little too late. Now then, was that rain? It's raining! It's raining here in Montreal. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve with 4 laps to go. It is raining. And Unorthodox is on old super soft tyres. Will he pit for the wets? Well then, we have a race on our hands now. Gary, 8.3 to Leon Fernie. I tell you what. I said Dan was going to struggle towards the end. Oh my days. He's not pitted. The rain's coming. Dan has not pitted. It's not heavy enough at the moment. Keegs doesn't pit. Leon Fernie doesn't pit. I can't see Gary pitting. If you pit now, you have to gamble this. Oh, I'm mistaken. DJ Phil's pitting. If Dubs crashes here, I will be baffled, says BST. As will I. Tibbs saying rain. DJ Phil is going to come in and put the wet tyre on. He's laps down, so he's not going to gain a place. Dan's pulling away from Keegs. Gary, 8.2 to Leon Fernie still. Jamie gaining on Craigie. Lap 37. 2 and a bit laps to go for Dan. In this race, the wet tyres are back on for DJ Phil. It's not wet enough yet, Phil. The rain hasn't came that hard yet. Jamie really close to the back of Craigie. Now, did he get DRS range through this? Dan has been caught by Lucas Roth here. As Dan starts lap 38 of 39. 2 laps to go. Here comes Big Boy Brazier. DRS still wide open. You know it's time for the wets when the DRS gets disabled. That's when it's time for the wet tyre. Here comes Jamie Brazier. Pulls out on Craigie now, looking for 5th place. Might get Gary by the end of this, you know. Not a million miles away. Gary's not catching Leon Fernie. Is this just a passing shower, I wonder? Although it is getting heavier. The rain is getting heavier. And for this man, was it the right strategy? Look at that rear tire. Look at them rear tyres. They have seen better days. 6.7 to his teammate. Will his teammate gain on him towards the end of this race? Big Boy's got Gary. What's happened to Gary then? Big Boy's got Gary by some margin. Or is it just the younger tyres of Big Boy? It's not wet enough to pit. Dan's pitting! Dan's pitting! Well, I never! Dan is in for fresh super softs. Lucas Roth leads from Leon Fernie. Here comes Jamie! And Gary and Craigie. What has Dan done? Craigie disqualified. Failure to use the different tyre compounds. That means he's not used both tyres for more than 5 laps. Dan then will be P5. So A. Smith will get a point. You have to do 6 laps on both tyres. This is what happened to Dan and Liam last week. Why, though, has Dan pitted? On what planet would he have needed to pit for? He can't get fastest lap. He can't get a podium. What has Dan done? But this man, it took him 74 races to get a win, and he's going to win his first F2 race of the season. Great result for Carlin, but Jamie pulls massive points over Dan here. 5 points over Dan, plus the fastest lap. Lucas Roth is going to be a winner in the Formula 2s for the first time. What a win. This man, has he done enough from Big Boy Brazier to get in 2nd place? We'll see. But Big Boy Brazier, no! Jamie span! Oh no!